Councilwoman D'Arminio.
Here.
Councilman Garrett.
Here.
Councilman Accomando.
Here.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Here.
Council President Samaluka.
Here, please rise to salute the flag, and please remain standing after the salute in honor of three of our township residents. Pat Albora, who was our records clerk for a long time, police records clerk, passed away recently. Also Bill Gargone, who was our township attorney from the 60s through the 90s, and a crossing guard, Tony Tanaselli. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting? Wrong one?
The right.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members and to all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
The public is hereby advised that any statements made during the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook may not be privileged or protected, and that persons or entities who take issue with such comments or are offended by same may and have in the past sought legal redress through the courts. Any member of the public who addresses the council speaks for themselves and not for the council.
Before we open the meeting to the public, the mayor has a proclamation.
Thank you, Council President. As many of you know, February is National Heart Awareness Month, and I have this proclamation that I'd like to read. Whereas heart disease is the leading cause of death among Americans, good communication between you and your doctor to know your blood pressure numbers, cholesterol levels, blood sugar levels, height and weight, and waist circumference is important. And whereas we know that smoking, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, lack of physical activity, obesity, diabetes, and prediabetes are some of the leading factors that can contribute to our risk of heart disease. So whereas through technological advancements and decades of scientific research, we have learned a tremendous amount about the causes of heart disease. And whereas small changes taken at any time, such as committing to a healthy diet and regular exercise, can make a big difference. So now, therefore, on this 6th day of February 2020, I, Robert D. White, the mayor of the Township of Saddlebrook, wish to recognize February as American Heart Month and remember those who have lost their lives to heart disease and to raise awareness of early warning signs and symptoms. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. D'Arminio, second by Mr. Accomando. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Meeting is now open to the public. Anyone wishing to address the council, please come to the podium. State your name, give your address.
Omar Rodriguez, 275 Madison Avenue. First and foremost, Happy New Year to everyone in the town. And I see that a lot of renewals are coming up. And I don't see one for a massage parlor. And I just want to bring to your attention that we have an ordinance in place for hours of operation of massage parlors, and I believe that it should be strictly enforced because I still don't believe the massage parlor open first time in the morning until late hours at night. We have an ordinance. We should be able to enforce it. So you should look into that. Also, Council President, you just mentioned a few names, and you mentioned township residents. My deepest condolences to all the relatives and close friends of those people that passed away. And you failed to mention Larry Ratajczak.
We mentioned him at the last meeting, sir.
Excuse me. You got township residents. He was a resident. You might not like him, but he is celebrating life and he's watching us. You don't wish,
mentioned
excuse
him-
me, Council
we
President,
mentioned
I have
him
the
at the
floor,
last meeting.
excuse me.
You don't
got
have
us, no,
anything
but you
unless I
got us
give it
off
to
when
you.
listen, when I have the floor, you gotta respect my 3 minutes, right? You got a time limit, unless you wanna give me open, all right? Okay, thank you. So, actually, I'm just trying to make a comment that it will be unfair for other township residents. If you said township employees, that would be different. I'm just trying to bring it up. A person with illness for so long, trying to take care of the town, whether you like it or not. It was someone that was trying to put in check to all the government officials on things that he might see or hear in the street. But then I believe, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not here to bash anyone. I was just trying to pick up what you just said. Unless you said township employees, that's a different thing. But when you said township residents, that's a different question. And Larry Atache just passed away, and I believe that also he should be mentioned. I believe he did a service to this town, and unfortunately I was out of town when he passed away, but I'm pretty sure that Larry's watching the meeting tonight. Again, I'm not here to bash anyone, but please, whatever is going to happen with the new town center or township center, whatever name you want to put it, please stay the proper time, even though the money has been appropriated or is going to be appropriated, please stay the proper time in order to design the new complex. Because let's keep in mind something. It's going to be a lot of traffic. If we're going to put a boys and girls club or a rec center, we have to make sure that not just one set of architects or the developer that is doing that or is building have their hands on it. You should have the own experts, your own professionals. It's going to be for years to come right here, 50, 100 years from today on. Thank you very much for listening out. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. And before we get to other stuff, Mr. Rodriguez, as he often does, scoots out immediately after he says his 3 minutes. But anyone who watches the meeting or was here knows full well that we did have a moment of silence for a number of people at the January meeting, including Mr. Ratajczyk. And I actually did say very kind words about Mr. Ratajczyk. His family is well known to me and to others on the council for a long time, and we do give our deep condolences to him, and we did it in, I thought, a graceful manner in the January meeting. But when you come, not to bash people, but to bash people, you should do your homework before you get to the podium. Hey, anyone else from the council, from the audience, wish to address the council?
Good evening. Thomas Van Winkle, 128 Lincoln Avenue, Saddlebrook. Just want to talk about the Mayor's Youth Group again, as I did in January. We had our first meeting of 2020 in just recently, this last Saturday, here at Town Hall. We discussed a number of things coming up. We talked about doing some work for Earth Day. One thing what was discussed was about doing another cleanup at Avon Park. We've done that in the past, and we want to maybe do it again this year. We don't have a date necessarily set in stone for the Avon Park. We were looking at, Earth Day is April 22nd, falls on a Wednesday, so we were looking at maybe the Saturday before that, possibly, but we will confirm that date in the near future. Also, we talked about the Easter celebration. I know it's only February, but we did discuss it, and it'll be in sometime in early April, from 12 to 2. I don't know if we're going to change, through the chair and mayor, are we going to change the date on the Easter celebration at all? Not to put you on the spot.
Yes, we are going to change it. I believe
Saturday
it's the day-
before Easter. April 11th.
It's going to be April 11th? Okay.
April 11th.
The day before Easter.
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Time also?
And we
Karen?
moved up the time because there's a lacrosse game, so it's 12:30.
Oh, 12:30 to 2:30?
Right.
Got it. Okay. So, yes, April 11th to 12:30, 2:30. The Mayor's Youth Group will certainly be there to help out. We're going to get the Easter eggs ordered in this year, so the youth group is really going to be focused on helping out with the games, making sure the event runs smoothly, as it does every year, and I know it will this year. So we hope everybody comes out for the Easter celebration. The Easter Bunny will be there, as always, so it'll be a fun time. And that will be at the Saddlebrook High School, in the Mario Alia gym, the old gym at the high school. So we hope you join for that. Another event we discussed, it's a town event, not necessarily a Mayor's Youth Group event, was the town pancake breakfast. We encouraged everybody to attend that on February 22nd. I'm sure it'll be discussed a little bit more. It'll be at 9 o'clock at Dynasty Buffet. And we scheduled our next meeting for Saturday, March 28th at 10 a.m. here at Town Hall. We've been doing the meetings a little bit earlier lately. Instead of doing 11 o'clock, we've gone to 10 a.m. and it's worked out pretty well. We actually had a couple new members join the Mayor's Youth Group at that meeting last week. So very impressive. New members are always welcome. As I say every time I come up here, 3rd, 4th grade through 12th grade in Saddlebrook. So we hope you'll join us for the Mayor's Youth Group meeting on March 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas, and thank you for your stewardship of the group and the members of the group who always give a hand to the community, and we really appreciate it. All right. Anyone else wish to address the council? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to close the meeting to the public.
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Darminio, second by Mr. Gehrig. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion passes unanimously. Meeting is now closed to the public. Council comments, and we will start with Mr. Gehrig.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to mention that the council will be voting this evening to approve Mianecki Consulting to take on the responsibility of the township's floodplain management. The township has roughly 600 homes in the floodplain. About half of those carry flood insurance at an average cost of $2,000 per home. By contracting Mianecki Consulting, they will be able to address the township's community rating score. As our rating improves, residents will receive a discount on their insurance. In addition, the residents will be informed on flood issues and improving readiness and preparedness in the event of a flood emergency. In closing, I'd like to thank the members of the Flood Committee and the council for their input on this important issue. An email will be sent out to all committee members regarding our next flood meeting. If any resident is interested in participating, please call Town Hall for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gehrig. Ms. Darminio?
The other night, we talked about Tricentennial Park, and I just wanted to make mention of it because we talked about we're going to put a gazebo in the park. The neighbors there have been waiting for it. So we are in the process of doing that, and that is at no cost to the taxpayer because when we celebrated our 300th anniversary, we collected some money and we got a grant. So what's happening at the park will be done through the grant, and it will not cost the taxpayers anything. And to you, Dave, I think that was very informative the other night with that woman that was here, because I know I sat on that, and there's so much paperwork that we need someone, and I think it's going to be a good thing.
Thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Ms. Mason?
Thank you, Council President. I'd like to thank the mayor for recognizing February as Heart Month. It's near and dear to my heart. After extensive testing, and even though I've lost almost 50 pounds, my cholesterol was high. So even with diet and exercise, sometimes it's not enough. So after testing, they had to put me on meds, which brought my numbers down 100 points. So now I'm finally where I need to be. So, please don't hesitate on getting that physical. It could save your life. And, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Everybody pretty much spoke on everything. I just wanted to wish everybody happy Valentine's Day.
Mayor, I don't mean to step on your toes because you're going to be back in cleanup, but I'm going to talk about some things that you may have on your list. We didn't go over. We didn't exchange memos or anything like that. That would be a violation of the Sunshine Law. A number of us went to the drug awareness meeting or seminar or informational session that was held at the Senior Center 2 weeks ago. It was very eerie walking into a facility and seeing about 100 photographs of young people who have died from overdoses, mostly opioid-related overdoses in the area. There were many, many parents of these children that were there. They call it, I think, the Black Frame Project, because there were black frames, there were candles. It was just sad, and so many beautiful young people that lost their lives to this. It was very informational, and one of the things that we got out of it is there are a lot of entities out there that can help. So number one is to educate, and number two is to get the help that is out there. There's many, many organizations that are ready, willing, and able to help the people with the disease and the families of the people with the disease. And we hope to be hosting another one of these seminars in the near future. I see we have a number of members of the fire department here. We will be voting on a bond for the new rescue truck, but I'd just like to thank them for inviting us to their annual dinner. And this year, it's my pleasure to see that the new fire chief, Joe Palazzati, is in the audience. Congratulations to Joe. Sitting next to him is Assistant Fire Chief Jason Sabani. Congratulations, Jason, and a heartfelt thank you for his service to departing Chief Chris Sloma for all that you guys do. We really, really appreciate it. Brings up the ambulance corps, which we will be attending the ambulance corps dinner at the end of the month. And again, we thank them. We are one of the few towns that still has a full volunteer ambulance corps. They don't take any money. And for that reason, I am just making my own personal plea to people when they do come around. This includes the fire department. Donations are down. It's no secret. People are less willing, I think, to dip into their pockets for these organizations. But listen, you never know when you're going to need them. So please be generous when they come around. The fire department gives the calendars. The ambulance corps goes door to door. Please be generous with your donations, because they are two of the most worthy organizations that are out there. Like Mr. Garrick had said about the flood, was it mitigation program, or the flood committee engaged this young lady to come down. Right now, they have some kind of a rating system, and that's what she explained. I had no idea that it was there, but they rate it on numbers. Right now, we're like at a 10. The more you go down, the more you get a discount. Now, we would be retaining her, so the town would be paying her, but it's to help the residents. And there are a number of residents, and I asked a bunch of questions the last time, how many people were affected, and there's a significant amount of people, and they pay a significant amount of money for flood insurance. And I think if we get down to a 9, they say 5%. We get down to an 8, 10%, and maybe pie in the sky, but they get down to a 7, and they say 15%, which for some people, that 15%, if they're in the high numbers, could be up to $500-600. So I do think that the council is being proactive on this. It's been a while, but we're doing the right thing, I think, and we're spending money to save the residents money in those areas, and there's a lot of them. You know, we do have a body of water in the name of our town, so it's not out of reason to think that sometimes there's going to be flooding, but if we can do as much as possible to help, and it's a lot of paperwork. It's a ridiculous amount of paperwork with flood maps and elevation maps. So if by any chance you get called and you're in this flood zone and you get called by this woman or somebody, and she's out there to help us, please cooperate, because it's only going to help you save some money. Ms. Dominguez talked about Tricentennial Park. We did consider, and I think we still are considering, putting some benches in there for seating, and I think what we intend on doing, because we've gotten a lot of requests, to make those benches memorial benches, if somebody would like to put someone's name on them, a family member or donated by, that's going to be out there. So we'll have more information as it gets closer. We did talk the other night at the work session about speed tables. I've been up here for 100 years speaking about speed tables, but we're going to get this done. We've identified a certain number of roads that we feel are the roads that would be maybe the test cases for the speed tables, and in conjunction with our police, DPW, and our engineering department, going to find out the best place to put them on these individual streets that have been identified, and hopefully that would quell the speeding. Now, somebody had brought up about Fairlawn Parkway. That right now is not on the list, but we have a different plan for that. The engineer has drawn up some plans which would be more in terms of striping to kind of artificially narrow the roadway. Right now, it's 4 or 5 lanes. It's really, really wide, and then it narrows. But with some striping, we're hoping to get it down to what it is, which is 1 lane in each direction. And with that, in addition to the speed signs that are up there to help the people on Fairlawn Parkway enjoy their properties a lot more. And there will be more of those signs. We purchased them. We are just working with the DPW and the police to put them in the right locations. You're going to see more of those out there. The mayor had mentioned, and Ms. Mazur had mentioned about the American Heart Month. Tomorrow is National Wear Red Day. Again, this is one of those issues that, like with Ms. Mazur, is close to my heart, no pun intended. My dad died of heart disease when I was 6. He was 39 years of age. It didn't help that his mother, my grandmother, was about as wide as she was tall, and that his brother was about 400 pounds. So we come from a family of large people. Just had a heart attack and died, was on disability. Unfortunately, my mother never thought to tell me that my father had heart disease. I thought it was always a freak accident. So I said, I don't have to worry about anything, but it was a long-standing heart disease. And some people will be happy and some people won't be happy to know that I did have a stress test. So do your stress test, and I did. They did find that I had a heart. That's the important thing, which has been a subject of debate, especially in my house sometimes. It is also National Cancer Prevention Month, and it is also Black History Month. I did call the library, and they will be putting up a display for Black History Month of books and videos related to Black History Month. I did call them today to find out about that, and indeed they will be doing that. That may not go on till next week because I think their displays are full of Valentine stuff. So with that, I am going to shut up for a bit and go to ordinances.
No, the mayor. What happened to the mayor?
The mayor's gone. I said everything you wanted to say.
You did most of it.
Mayor, I apologize.
Okay, just regarding the ordinances, we also have an ordinance for first reading regarding swimming pools. The 2 bond ordinances that were mentioned, the one is for a fire department, rescue truck, and equipment, and also one for sewer maintenance upgrades. And I just, I urge all the council members to please vote yes for them. Some resolutions that we have on tonight. We opened bids for Fairlawn Parkway Phase 1 and 2 paving upgrades. There's a resolution to award the low bidder, Marini Brothers. Also, there's a resolution to authorize the engineer to prepare bid specs for the 2020 road program. And I have a list of those roads I'd like to mention. Dana Way, Colonial Ave, Woodcrest Place, Jamrose Terrace, Oxford Avenue, Manifold? What does that mean, Manifold?
It's a pipe collection system to collect water from the sumps that discharge the
Oh, okay.
cause ice problems.
And Taggart Way. So those streets will be done this year, And we're starting early so we can get the 2020 roads done in 2020. There's also the resolution that Mr. Garrick mentioned to hire Mianecki Consulting as our floodplain manager. She came, a representative from that consulting company came here Tuesday at our work session, and she was very informative. So I, again, implore the council to please vote yes to hire Mianecki Consulting, and I think it'll be great for our flood mitigation and our community rating to enter into the community rating system to save our residents in the flood zone some money on their flood insurance. The budget, just briefly, Pete and I have been preparing it, and it's due February 29th, that we have to submit it to the council. Also, just to advise everyone, first quarter taxes are due Monday, February 10th. So that's this Monday coming up. The Bergen County Improvement Authority revised their schedule regarding our purchase and our the construction for 55 Mayhill Street. We were supposed to close originally at the end of this month, but now it's been pushed back to the end of March. He had a pre-construction meeting for the Community Development Block Grant, that's 2019 block grant, on Wednesday, February the 5th, yesterday. That's to pave Rochelle Parkway, which is scheduled to begin in the spring. We have to coordinate with the school and the library for minimum impact with the school traffic and with the kids and with the library as well. I'm working on the annual newsletter, and we hope to get that done and mailed out by early March this year. I think we're on target to do that. That's the annual newsletter that we've been coming out with for the last, this will be the fifth year we've done it. Karen mentioned the continuing work on Tricentennial Park, the gazebo, benches, hopefully there'll be memorial benches, and also a monument as well there, which we have a big boulder that we're going to put a plaque on that'll be attached to the boulder. So hopefully we'll start that in the spring. As Mr. Samaluka mentioned, on Saturday, January 4th, we all, the council and I attended the fire department installation dinner, and I too want to congratulate Chief Palazzati and Assistant Chief Sabani, and also thank outgoing Chief Chris Sloma, who, by the way, I want to thank him for his service, but he also provided a gift to the mayor and council, a beautiful gavel, a box and a gavel. So Mr. Samaluka is proudly using that. Mr. Samaluka also mentioned the ambulance installation dinner. It's Saturday, February 29th at the Fiesta. He mentioned the alumni recovery event on Monday, January 27th. I just want to reiterate that was done in conjunction with our police department and our community partnership committee, and I want to thank all who attended. It was very well attended. We had a lot of Saddlebrook residents there, many of the council members. Pete was there, and other town officials, and I thank you for all coming. Just want to say the town offices will be closed Wednesday, February 12th for Lincoln's birthday, Monday, February 17th for President's Day. A lot of residents ask when there's a holiday and the DPW is not working. If it's there, they ask about the pickup, the debris pickup, the yard waste. It's always if it falls. In other words, let's say this was a Monday. If it's on a Monday, if that's your pickup day, you have to put it out the following Friday. So if it's Wednesday, your pickup day, because it depends on the zone that you're in. And that's all on the town website if you need to know. But people always ask that question, when do I put out the yard waste? So it's always the Friday, because they don't pick up on Friday, I believe. So that's an off day. Saturday, as Thomas mentioned, Saturday, February 22nd is our Township Pancake Breakfast at Dynasty Buffet from 9 a.m. to 11. You can purchase tickets here at Town Hall, also at the Senior Center. Sunday, February 23rd is Chicken Bingo at the Senior Center, so that's always a nice event, and you can get tickets at the Senior Center. I want to congratulate, I just found out this right before the meeting, I want to congratulate Michael Maniscalco. He is the recipient of the National Eagle Scout Association Outstanding Eagle Scout Project. So his project that he did at the playground at Avon Park was recognized by the National Eagle Scout Association. So he's got a lot to be proud of. It was a great project and great not only for him but for the town, because we have this beautiful handicapped accessible playground. I also wanted to mention Black History Month. Mr. Samaluka did. Along with the library, I know there's different events throughout the county to celebrate, and if you go on the county website, they're all listed there. And finally, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll now go into ordinance 1675-20 for first reading.
An ordinance amending Chapter 183 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Swimming Pools Private for first reading. I think the attorney may have an addition.
Mr. Suarez, before we get a motion to give the first reading, you have some new information?
Correct. Minor in nature, but to make it consistent. Okay. Minor in nature, but consistent with the planning board attorney's recommendation that came from the planning board, which is to add another section, which I'll put together before the final reading, get it over to the administrator, which would be under Article 1. There'll be a new Section C, which essentially eliminates Section 183-5, subsection D of the swimming pool ordinance, which says all in-ground pools and all surrounding concrete or paved areas shall not be counted as improved lot coverage and shall be classified as detention-retention areas. All paved areas shall be graded toward the pool. So by adding that, it makes consistent with what we're doing here with this ordinance.
That would be considered a minor amendment, so we don't...
Well, we're not doing the final reading yet, so it's just the first reading, so I went through the clerk and he said, yes, that's fine.
Okay, is there a motion to give it a first reading?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. O'Meara, second by Mr. Accomando. Roll call.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Samaluka?
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that an ordinance amending Chapter 183 of the Township Code of the Township of Saddlebrook entitled Swimming Pools Private, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on the 5th day of March, 2020, at 7 o'clock p.m. Or soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Building, 93 Market Street, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Okay, is there a motion to pass on first reading?
Motion.
Motion is by Mr. Carmenio, second by Mr. Accomando. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Samaluka?
No. Next is ordinance 1676-20 for first reading.
I can't find mine. A bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of a fire truck and various equipment for the use of the fire department in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,650,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds. On first reading.
Is there a motion to give on first reading? Mr. O'Meara, second by Mr. Garrett. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Accomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Samaluka?
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that a bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of a fire truck and various equipment for use of the fire department in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,650,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on the 5th day of March 2020 at 7 o'clock p.m., or sooner after as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Building, 93 Market Street, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Through the chair. Yes. I just want to put on record that I would like to request that we, like I said the other night, that we keep the current
Yes.
truck for the town for OEM and for police purposes.
Okay. Anyone fighting you on that? Motion to pass on first reading. Motion is Dominion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Garrett. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Dorminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Council President Simulka.
Yes. Ordinance number 1677-20 for first reading.
A bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of various sanitary sewer system improvements in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $475,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds for first reading.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Accomando, motion, second by Ms. Dominion. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman D'Arminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Council President Simulka.
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that a bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of various sanitary sewer system improvements in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $475,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on the 5th day of March 2020 at 7 o'clock p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Building, 93 Market Street, and at such time and place, all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
We'll entertain a motion to pass on first reading.
Second.
It is Mazer, second by Mr. Accomando. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman D'Arminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Council President Simulka.
Yes, and just for everyone's knowledge, this bond is not for any specific sewers, sewer repairs. This is in anticipation of potential sewer issues that may come up during the year. Okay, next we have the consent agenda, but we have a couple of things that we're going to vote on that are not part of the consent agenda, and I believe resolution number 11 is the first one. We'll do the consent agenda since we don't believe.
All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine or non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or member so requested, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence, reports, and approval of minutes and applications.
Is there a motion to pass the consent agenda?
Motion passed.
Second.
Mr. Garrett, and second by Mr. Accomando. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman D'Arminio.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Council President Simulka.
Yes.
We have,
Resolution 11?
yes. Have authorized the payment of bills, Ms. Owen Plumbing, and Councilwoman Dorminio will recuse herself and leave the dais.
Okay. Is there a motion to authorize payment of bills from Ms. Owen Plumbing?
Motion.
Mr. Raccomando, second by Ms. Mazer. Roll call.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Saluka?
Yes. And resolution number 14.
Resolution number 14 is to award the contract for the floodplain manager, Miyake Consulting, the amount of $10,000.
David, do you want to read the resolution? It's not on the consent agenda, because I think we all thought it was important. We know that Saddlebrook has in the past had certain flood issues, and we think that this is an important step that we are taking to try and help as much as this can do.
Whereas Mayor White appointed a flood review committee to combat flood control issues within the Township of Saddlebrook, and whereas the committee met with Rochelle Park officials and heard what he accomplished on behalf of their residents, including cost reduction on flood insurance policies for homeowners, and whereas the committee recommended to the mayor and council that a floodplain manager is necessary to begin the process of cost reduction for the flood insurance, including coordinating with FEMA community rating system. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that it hereby awards a contract to Miyake Consulting Engineers, 9 Midvale Avenue, Totowa, New Jersey, for a cost not to exceed $10,000.
Is there a motion to pass that resolution?
Motion.
Second. Ms. Domingo, second by Mr. Raccomando. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Saluka?
Yes, that completes the consent agenda. Any old business or new business that we have not yet discussed? Anybody, council, mayor? Anything that came up? All right, I'll entertain a motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Mazer, second by Mr. Commander, roll call.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer?
Yes.
Council President Saluka?
Yes, meeting is now open to the public. For anyone who wishes to comment on any of the agenda items, please come forward, state your name and address.
Good evening, Joe Palzotti, 92 Cole Ave, Fire Chief. Just want to take a moment to thank the council and the mayor for their support of our great fire department. Here at present, we have 3 ex-chiefs, myself, my assistant chief, and one of the newest Pro-B guys we got, who happens to be a member of Engine Company Number 1, where the rescue truck that you just approved first reading is a member of. And the training that they do, they just cut up cars the other night, and you know, our town has major highways going through it, and we have busy roads, and we've seen on Platt Ave, a little side street, a woman hit a parked car and ended up on a roof last year. So this is a very important piece of equipment for us, and it's great that you guys support us, you guys and gals, and we can keep current. And I appreciate the trend of the past few years that we're keeping in pace with this fire department and our equipment that you provide for us. Thank you very much.
Chief, does the Pro-B, is he aware of the size of this rig that he will be washing on a daily basis?
I'm sure he is.
Any other member of the public wish to address the council? Seeing none, I will entertain the motion to close the meeting to the public on agenda items. Ms. Mazer, second by Ms. Dominio. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman D'Arminio?
Yes.
Councilman Garrett?
Yes.
Councilman Arcomando?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer? Council President Saluka?
Yes. Are there any further comments before we close the February 2020 meeting? Mr. Garrett.
I just want to mention a longtime resident, Elaine Lanza, who recently passed. And I just want to give my condolences to the Lanza family. She's a longtime resident of the township, so.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. I'll entertain a motion to close this meeting. Motion by Ms. Mazur. Second by Ms. Bonilla, roll call.
Councilwoman Dorminier.
Yes.
Councilman Garrett.
Yes.
Councilman Accomando.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur. Council President Simulta.
Yes, have a great February and a happy Valentine's Day.